Hey, welcome back to the channel. Quick video today looking at Kabuki Strength's Legacy Collection. We have two bars, the Columbia bar and the Organ Power bar. They look very similar, but one's very much a better bar. Which is it? If you want to find out, stick around. Okay, so these two bars are very similar. They're on Kabuki Strength's Legacy Collection. They're only going to have them while supplies last. They're not going to remake them. So if you want a really good deal on a bar, they're offering 20% off. May have blemishes, but they're offering 20% off. It might be a chance to jump on this. I wanted to do this video because I saw Coop just did a video. He did a review on the Organ Power bar. And there's other people that have done reviews on the Organ Power bar. The Kurt Locker did one a while back. And I started thinking, hey, I have both the bars. I have both the Organ Power bar and the Columbia bar. And folks may want to know what the difference is, because when I went and bought, when I was looking to buy one of those two bars, I couldn't figure out what the difference was. And so I reached out to Kabuki. Here's what Kabuki said. They said, so they reached out to their lead engineer, and the simple answer is this. There are very minor differences in overall length and knurl spacing. However, both are 20 kilograms, both are 28.5 millimeters, both use 4140 steel, and both are platform legal in powerlifting federations. So essentially, the difference is, they say, in length and in knurl. Okay, well, I've measured the length. They're almost identical in length. The sleeve lengths are a little bit different. The Columbia bar has a longer sleeve length and a little bit smaller collar on the sleeve. The Organ Power bar has a little bit thicker of a collar and a shorter sleeve and shorter loadable sleeve length. So there's the big differences there, but the knurl is a huge difference. So let's talk about the knurl here. Let me put this away. So like I said, I wanted to make this video because Coop just did a review, and a good review, on the Organ Power bar. If you're considering buying the Organ Power bar, I suggest you buy the Columbia bar. The reason I suggest you buy the Columbia bar is the knurl is far superior to the Organ Power bar. It's the exact knurl that they use on the new generation 250K power bar, and it's awesome. If you felt that knurl, it's great. It's 21 TPI, so it's 21 teeth per inch, and they've just found like a perfect combination of how many teeth per inch and how they cut the mountain to make it a volcano knurling just perfect, where this bar is extremely grippy without tearing your hands up. It's perfect for a powerlifting bar. It's by far my favorite knurl, and it's because it's so grippy. So I would say, yeah, it's extremely aggressive knurl, but it doesn't feel sharp, which you can't say with other bars. Like the Ohio Power bar, love that knurl, but it's pretty aggressive. Texas Power bar, it can tear your hands up. This bar, I mean, if the lights were off, I mean, in a second, I could tell you which one is which bar. I mean, the knurling on the Organ Power bar compared to the Columbia bar, it just doesn't feel like it's premium. So that's a big difference. They're the same price. So if you go to the Legacy Collection, they're both $299 if you're talking bare steel. The Organ Power bar, they only sell in bare steel. The Columbia bar, they do sell in black oxide. It's just under $500. If it were me, my opinion, if you're going to go the black oxide route, you might as well just get the 250K power bar. But if you're going to go the bare steel route, which they don't make the 250K power bar in bare steel. In fact, Kabuki, outside of their Legacy Collection, which will be gone at some point, is only doing black oxide for all their bars now. So just talking bare steel, I definitely think the Columbia bar is a better bar than the Organ Power bar. Let's just talk about the Columbia bar compared to the 250K power bar for a second. They're very similar bars. They feel almost identical. Like I said, the knurl's identical. The Columbia bar has that kind of premium feel, like when it's in your hands. It's hard to describe. The two big differences are, one is the diameter in the shaft. So if you're a traditionalist with your power bars, you have to have a 29 millimeter power bar. Then yeah, the Columbia bar is not going to be for you because it's 28.5 millimeters. So is the Oregon power bar, by the way. But there's a lot of people out there that like the old Texas power bars, and they're 28.5. But it's 28.5, not 29, like the 250K power bar. The other thing is, with the 250K power bar that Kabuki's, that's been so popular for Kabuki, they go through a heat treat and hardening process that gets it up to 250,000 PSI, which is a crazy number. It's a really hard number to get to because when you start getting that high, you risk making the bar brittle. They figured out a way to do it. No other bar that I'm aware of is 250,000 PSI in terms of tensile rating. This bar forgoes that process, but it's still 190,000 PSI tensile strength, which is plenty. In fact, 10 years ago, that would have been better than the standard. So 190,000 tensile strength, this bar's not going to bend, but it's not as hard as the more expensive 250K new generation power bar. So the two big differences between the two are the size and diameter and the knurling, but really that's it. And this bar, man, you can get it for $299 plus 20% off. 20% of $299 is roughly $60. So you can get this bar for $240 before shipping. It's a pretty good deal. So if you're somebody that doesn't mind having a bare steel bar, that doesn't mind having a 28.5 diameter, man, this would be a great everyday driver. I love this bar. I lift inside, have an inside gym, as you can see. This has become one of my daily driver bars. I have so many bars now. Nothing like Basement Brandon or Coop or some of those guys. But I have like 15 bars now. But this bar, I use it all the time. I love it. It's fantastic. And like I said, I have a 250K electroless nickel power bar, which I love too. So great bar for the price. The Oregon power bar, the knurl just feels okay. Nothing great. Still a decent price. If I could do it again, I would have just bought the Columbia bar and not the Oregon power bar. But I didn't know the difference in the two. What I do like about both of these bars, though, is they both have a longer center knurl. They're both good bars. Both of these bars are the same length. They're both roughly, come on now. They're both roughly 86.5 inches. As I may have mentioned before, I can't remember if I mentioned it, but if I haven't, I'll mention it again. The Columbia bar has a longer sleeve and a little bit smaller collar than the Oregon power bar. One thing to note is when you're buying these bars with the Legacy Collection, you know, they come with 20% off because Kabuki says they're not up to the stringent standards of Kabuki, and they may have blemishes. When I bought the Columbia bar, and to this day, I have no idea what the blemishes were. I mean, I've used it. Now I see little marks because I've been using it a lot. And it's spare steel, so it'll get a patina. But I had no idea. The knurling is great. There's no cross-hatching. So I didn't know. When I got the Oregon power bar, and you maybe have seen the video, the sleeves came with rust. Not a deal breaker. I mean, it was kind of tacky because they could have probably gotten it off. I got it off. Watch that video if you want to see a good trick to get rust off. But I got it off. Took me about an hour. But and then the knurling, there's some little cross hatches on the knurling, but they're both, neither have have blemishes, too many blemishes. In fact, the Columbia bar had no blemishes, and the Oregon Power Bar had rust, and there's a couple small, tiny issues with the knurling, but nothing that is going to affect the functionality. So, long story short, Columbia bar every day of the week over the Oregon Power Bar. I think it's going to be a steal if you're looking for a really nice premium bar for under $300, and they're not going to last. So, by the way, I've spent a lot of money with Kabuki. They don't pay me, so it's an honest opinion. I don't get any money. Nothing good comes from me trying to, tell you to go buy their stuff. I'm just saying, I've been seeing these reviews on the Oregon Power Bar, and I think they may make a mistake. Get the Columbia bar instead. Okay, that's my 2 cents. Like and subscribe, and until next time, adios.